Good morning, everyone. Virgo here. It is August 12th, 2019, and happy Monday to everyone. So what you're looking at on the screen right now is from a company by the name of Ticor Title. And this is their blog. And the blog is entitled How to Steal a Mansion. Now, why is this important? It's important because across social media on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, the Moorish community that is online are losing their minds with this article. They are attempting to try to study it in order to be able to try to take advantage of what the party who attempted this the first time did not accomplish. The name of this is How to Steal a Mansion, and I'm going to read it to you. If anybody ever had any question in their mind as to whether the online Moors are honest and hold integrity, this will answer the question, because they are intrigued with this, because it allows them some additional inside intel, or inside baseball, some would call it, on how to steal a property. The article reads, the property listing reflected an 8,141 square foot home as having 7 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, a 4-car garage, and a guest home, mother-in-law quarters. The home was newly constructed but unfinished. The construction lender had to foreclose and take the property back and sell it as an REO, or bank-owned property. Full cash offer. On December 27, 2013, Jackie L., an escrow officer with one of our affiliate operations, received a copy of an offer made online for the mansion in the amount of $549,900, the full listing price. The online offer form was sent to Jackie along with a copy of what she thought was the earnest money deposit of $5,000. The deposit was tendered in the form of a money order sent directly and made payable to the asset manager. Upon closer inspection, Jackie realized the money order did not just represent the earnest money, it was for the full amount of purchase price of $549,900. The listing agreement called for a commission to be paid to the buyer's agent in the amount of $10,668, and the contract called for an additional $5,499 to be paid by the buyer to the agent at closing. Needless to say, the agent was anxious to close this transaction. The contract called for a closing date of January 15th, 2014 in anticipation of the closing. The asset manager deposited the money order and on January 3rd of 2014 wired the $549,900 to Jackie's office. Reviewing the convoluted offer. Jackie reviewed the offer and the other attached documents. The following did not make any sense. Number 1. Registered funds certified payable to the Department of Treasury / IRS in the amount of $549,000 for an unrelated estate, which read in part as follows, quote, this instrument is tendered for full satisfaction and accord on obligation represented by account number above UCC 3-310 3-311B, I hereby claim my inherent right to accept for value any instrument issued for value. Number 2. IRS Form 1099-C, cancellation of debt reflecting the asset management company as creditor, the estate as the debtor, and the amount of debt discharged as $549,000. Number 3. IRS Form 1099-A, acquisition or abandonment of secured property, reflecting the asset management company as borrower, the estate as the lender, and the balance of principal outstanding as $549,000. Number 4, a memo that read in part, quote, fiduciary. This is a credit issue set-off item with an attached charging instrument that has been accepted by the principal. It is to be presented through electronic medium by Fedwire to access a pre-established UCC contract treasury trust account used for this purpose. Number 5, UCC financial statement amendment naming the asset management company as a partial assignee of an existing financing statement and the filer as the estate. Number 6, affidavit of individual surety claiming the estate as owner of surety bonds owned by the U.S. government. Number 7, release of personal property from escrow, not signed but clearly notarized, whose signature was the notary acknowledging, ? Number 8, release of lien on real property, not signed but clearly notarized. Number 9, a document literally entitled, quote, taken for value and accepted as truth and discharged by bond in exchange for closure and settlement of the account. It was written, quote, without recourse, of course. Number 10, a notarized letter from the buyer that allowed the account involving the subject property to be, quote, settled. Number 11, Form 1040V, payment voucher in favor of the estate in the amount of $549,000, which reads, quote, no portion of this presentment is intended to harass, intimidate, offend, conspire, blackmail, coerce, cause anxiety, alarm, or distress, or impede any public procedure, any affirmation contrary to this certified statement will comprise a confession of fraud upon the court and the public. Number 12, a modification to promissory note, claiming public debt was placed on the estate by the United States containing a diagram showing the intent of the House and Senate of the United States of America as assembled on June 5th of 1933 to provide a remedy to the people in response to charges against the Federal Reserve Bank system for conspiracy, fraud, unlawful conversion, and reason in taking all of the gold from the people. This file gave new meaning to the phrase, quote, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. The documents looked official since they all contained the proper property address and the name and address of the asset management company. However, all of the above documents were written with legal jargon inserted in every sentence until the sentence made absolutely no sense. Jackie was suspicious to say the least. Even though she received the wire for the full purchase price and the buyer was prepared to close, she thought she should just make sure the money order cleared at the bank, especially since the asset management company happened to be a wholly owned subsidiary of the FNF family of companies. Last minute save. On January 3rd of 2014, she picked up the phone and called the asset management company to make sure that the funds that they received actually cleared the bank. On January 15th, the day of closing, the asset management company finally called Jackie to notify her that the money order was, in fact, not good and had been returned to their bank as counterfeit. The asset management company contacted the listing agent to let them know the deal was dead. Jackie's expertise and actions have saved the FNF family of companies from a potential loss. Had she distributed the funds in her trust account to the REO bank and recorded the deed to the buyer, it would have taken weeks, if not months, and multiple court actions to unwind the transaction after the asset management company discovered the money order was counterfeit. For her heroic acts, Jackie has been rewarded and received a letter of recognition from the company. Okay, so let's just talk about this for a moment. This was forwarded to me by someone who had been monitoring some social media from the Moors that are online. Notice that there has been a big uproar with regards to this article, and it's being passed around a great deal to Moors who are looking for a way to tap into their secret squirrel account that does not actually exist and determine how to go about falsifying documentation enough to make a less aware title clerk file the actual title in their name. This way they believe that they can take over a property like this mansion and make it their own. Again, another fraudulent scam. Filing fraudulent documentation, of course, is a felony in most states and a misdemeanor in all others. Filing fraudulent liens and titles, for example, would qualify as those fictitious and false documentations. But using the mail, or, God forbid, Fedwire, ranks it up to a whole different kind of charge. But let's forget about that for just a moment, and let's just talk about their 5 principles that they consistently throw in everyone's face. Truth, freedom, justice. Seriously? You know, when I take a look at a group of people, and I pick out those 3 out of their so-called principles, and then I look at the information that I put out over the weekend on my Patreon channel with regards to the history of the Moors, the only charlatan that would have thought up something like this would have been the online Moors, because even Noble Drew Ali, in his previous life of magic and raising the dead and making all kinds of crazy claims when he was Timothy Drew back in 1916, even he didn't resort to doing this type of illegal activity. I mean, let's face it, even during 1916 and 1920, when Noble Drew Ali was at his finest hour, he wasn't filing false documentation and making up fake money orders or checks. This group of individuals seriously are a criminal group. To even consider something like this document to be so valuable with all of the information it provides that the title clerks do, or the escrow managers do, to pass that around social media as though it's some kind of secret squirrel knowledge and what they could do to try to fool somebody into getting a property that does not belong to them. Even if it's only for a short period of time, a year or so, until the court were to be able to rule that they needed to leave and give it up, and then of course they would be going back after them under charges of everything from mail fraud to wire fraud to falsifying financial instruments. Unbelievable. And if they can do this on an empty property, then their claim of filing liens against unknowing citizens, or their claim of being indigenous peoples who have the right to take property from whoever they want under any given circumstances, are not far behind. This is just a warning to those of you that don't know what's going on the inside circles of the online Moorish movement. A complete and total disgrace to this country, and a complete and total disgrace to their own race. I hope everybody is having a good day so far, and I hope that this information finds you all well. Keep it in your arsenal, guys, because you're going to see more from this group. Their intent is to steal. Their intent is to scare and make people fearful and angry. And it's working, isn't it? You need to watch people like this and be aware that they're out there, because they're in large groups. They're all over the internet, and that means they're all over our streets and neighborhoods and communities. Tigor Title is just one of the many that will be dealing with this fraudulent and fake paperwork and these criminal Moors as time goes on. All right, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.